It's amazing how much wisdom can be found in the most unexpected places,
Yeah.
you know. Like, who would think an 80s karate movie would have so much to teach us about life and growth?
Right. It's so true. I think it's because we don't expect these big life lessons from, a movie about karate that it catches us off guard.
Exactly. And, one of the most memorable scenes is wax on, wax off,
Hmm.
right? Daniel just wants to learn karate, but he's stuck doing these chores for Mr. Miyagi, like washing and waxing cars and painting
Oh,
fences.
yeah. I can imagine how frustrating that would be.
Talk about frustrating. But, it's actually a brilliant metaphor for a lot of our experiences.
Yeah, like when we're working towards something, but we don't see the results right away, we might wonder if we're just wasting time.
Exactly. Like, come on, Mr. Miyagi, where are the flying kicks?
Right.
But that's where, commitment comes in.
Yeah.
Daniel could have given up and said, forget this,
Yeah.
and then he wouldn't have become the champion.
Exactly. We all have these wax on, wax off moments when we're trying to reach a goal.
Oh.
Those times when you know you're putting in the work, but it feels like you're not making any progress and you just want to quit.
So how do we get through those moments? How do we get that same kind of commitment that Daniel had?
Well, this article we have, wax on, wax off, the surprising truth about commitment and transformation, it talks about how so few people who start coaching programs stick with it.
Really?
Yeah, it says less than 20% actually see it through to make a real change.
Oh, that's surprising. So what makes those 20% different?
Well, the article talks about a few things, and they're pretty insightful. The first thing is they are totally committed. Even when things get tough, they get that real change isn't a quick fix. It's a journey.
It's like that saying, the only way to do great work is to love what you do.
Exactly.
You have to be passionate about what you're doing, or it's so easy to quit when things get hard.
Absolutely. And another thing is being open. These people are open to new ideas, even if they challenge their beliefs. They're willing to step outside their comfort zone.
Which can be scary, right? I think that's why a lot of people resist change.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Change can be uncomfortable and unpredictable.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole wax on, wax off idea comes in. We have to trust the process, even if we don't get it at first.
Okay.
Like Daniel, we don't always see how the little things connect to the big picture.
Makes sense. So we've got commitment and openness.
Mm-hmm.
What else makes these successful people stand out?
Well, they're also really accountable. They take responsibility for their own growth and understand that it's up to them to make things happen.
So it's not enough to just have a goal.
Right.
You have to
Yeah.
put in the work and be responsible for your own progress.
Exactly. And that's a big part of coaching, helping people develop that sense of ownership and giving them support along the way.
Yeah, it sounds like having that support can really make a difference.
It definitely does.
But even with the best support, you still have to have that draw, that commitment to grow.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And that's where this book comes in, IO How to Win at the Game of Life. It talks about how life is like a strategic game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you need a plan. You have to be intentional, make smart moves.
And like any game, there are going to be challenges and setbacks.
Yeah.
Even times when you feel like you're losing.
Oh, for sure. The book doesn't try to pretend it's all easy.
Okay.
It says you're going to hit obstacles, but it says to see those as chances to learn and grow.
So how do you do that?
Well, one of the key things the book talks about is knowing your strengths and your values.
Ah, so you're saying it's not just about setting goals, but making sure those goals fit with who you are.
That's exactly it. Because when your goals match your values, it's so much easier to stay motivated. Even when you hit those tough wax on, wax off moments, you know you're on the right track, even if it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like, even if you're doing something you don't like, if you know it's moving you towards something that matters, it's not just a chore anymore.
Exactly. And that's where having a game plan comes in. Oh, okay. The book says you need to have a clear strategy to reach your goals. Taking into account your strengths and your weaknesses and any obstacles you might run into.
So it's not about someone just telling you what to do.
No, not at all.
It's about figuring out your own path.
Right. It's about figuring out your own path and taking ownership of your journey.
And I imagine that's a big part of what you do as a coach.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things I do with clients is help them figure out their own game plan. We look at their values, their passions, what they really want to achieve in the long run, and then we break it down into smaller steps.
So you're guiding them to discover what they want and helping them own their journey.
Exactly, because the best changes come from within.
Mm.
They come from a real commitment to growth and a willingness to embrace those tough moments that lead to real change.
And that brings us back to that statistic you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You said only 20% of people stick with coaching long enough to really see results. So what would you say to someone who's not sure if they can make that commitment? Someone who's on the fence about it.
That's a great question. And I think it all comes down to being honest with yourself. Ask yourself, am I really ready for change? Am I willing to put in the work even when it's hard? And am I open to being guided and supported?
Because it's not just about showing up for the coaching sessions.
No, it's not.
It's about showing up for yourself, for your own growth every single day. It's about making that commitment to become the best version of yourself.
You got it. And if you can say yes to those questions, then I think you have what it takes to succeed. It might not always be easy. There will be bumps along the way, but the rewards are incredible.
So speaking of rewards,
Yeah.
let's talk about what's possible when you do make that commitment to personal growth.
Okay.
We've talked about the challenges, the wax on, wax off moments. But what about the breakthroughs, the moments that make it all worthwhile?
Oh, those are the best. And they're different for everyone, For some people, it's overcoming a belief that's been holding them back. For others, it's finally reaching a goal they've been working towards forever. And for others, it's finding a sense of purpose they never thought they'd have.
It's like the world opens up to you and you realize you can do so much more than you thought.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And I think those moments are what keeps us going. They make us want to keep growing and evolving.
It's like you get a taste of what's possible and you're hooked.
Exactly. And the more committed you are, the more you'll have those moments and you'll realize that the journey itself is the reward.
So it's not about the destination.
No.
It's about enjoying the ride.
You said it. It's about embracing the ups and downs, the good and the bad, and knowing that each step, even the small ones, is taking you towards a life that has more meaning.
It's like that commitment idea. It applies to so much more than just our personal lives. It's our relationships, our work, anything we're passionate about.
Absolutely. It's about showing up, putting in the effort consistently. That's what makes the difference between just dreaming about something and actually achieving it.
Yeah, it's like talent is great, but without that dedication, that grit, you're not going to reach your full potential.
I completely agree, and that's why coaching can be so powerful. It gives you that structure, that support, helps you stay committed when you hit those wax on, wax off moments.
So for those listening who are ready to up their commitment game, what would you say is like the most important thing to keep in mind?
I think it's remembering that commitment is a choice. It doesn't just happen. You have to actively choose it. You have to decide to show up, do the work, keep moving forward, even when it's hard.
And remember, we don't have to do it alone.
Right.
There are people out there like yourself who are passionate about helping others reach their goals.
Exactly. Finding a coach or mentor who gets you, who understands your values and what you want to achieve, that can make all the difference. It's like having your own Mr. Miyagi in your corner.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So if someone's listening and they're feeling inspired, they're ready to make a change, what's the first step they should take?
Reach out. Go to my website, send me an email, schedule a free consultation. Let's talk and see if working together feels right.
I love that because sometimes all it takes is that first step, to get things moving.
Exactly. And you don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to be willing to start to commit to the journey and trust that the path will reveal itself along the way.
It all comes back to that wax on, wax off wisdom, doesn't it?
It does.
The small, consistent actions, those seemingly small steps, they're what build transformation.
And just like with Daniel, those small steps can lead to amazing results.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question. What's one small, consistent action you can take today to get closer to a goal that matters to you?
Remember, even the tiniest step taken with intention and commitment can create a ripple effect that changes your whole life.
So go out there, embrace your wax on, wax off moments, and create the life you've always wanted.